Hello YouTube, I Fix It All here, Team I Fix It All. 1990 Ford Bronco. The harmonic balancer disintegrated on me. The rubber came apart. And long and sweet of it is, I've already purchased one on eBay. I thought I had a spare harmonic balancer, but just so you know, you 302 guys, these are 50 ounce imbalance. And apparently the 351 Windsor is 28 ounce imbalance. The reason why I didn't purchase one on Rock Auto is because I was under the impression these things fail so rarely that I can understand why Rock Auto has some wrong information. Rock Auto was saying Pioneer part number for a 302 is the same for a 351, and even some Dorman parts were calling it interchangeable, but yet I was skeptical because I started looking at this extra chunk of metal right here. It's less weight, lots less, much less, less, everything. This is a 28 ounce imbalance, and these are 50 ounce imbalance. So the inner hub is, surely to goodness, it is interchangeable. It's the same OD here and same ID, but the inertia ring is totally different. Number two, since I got my new one on eBay, I had the advantage of having two separate units, a fully assembled Windsor harmonic and a 302 harmonic side by side, and I had to learn how do I clock this hub to the outer ring, to the inertia ring. I discovered that you 302 guys, you know, if your keyway is straight up and down, you're at TDC. And that means your timing mark is right up here somewhere. And then I looked at the back side of this hub assembly here, and I noticed that there is a foundry mark right on that flange on the back side. There's a foundry mark right there. There's a stamping there. And I found that same pattern on every harmonic balancer I have. There is some sort of foundry mark right there, like the guy assembling these grabs this, lines up the rubber, presses it together, and boom. That orients the imbalance to the inner hub, which gives you a smooth running engine. So I carried that information over to this one that came apart and grenaded, and I also found there is a barely legible, but it's there, foundry stamping of some sorts. I don't know what it says. The one I got off of eBay that's on the truck right now, it has more legible markings, but it had a letter A and something else, but this was my reference. And now that I have that information, what are the details behind clocking it? How much wiggle room do we have? Well, I learned that I also etched in a scribe to mark in there to when I press it together, I can align it to my inertia ring timing marks. There is 0 degrees TDC. You would assume you would line that flange directly up to your paint mark. Alright, so let's just operate backwards, guys. There's 0. And there's that flange. You would assume you would just line that up, and that's how you put it together. Well, what I learned was, no. This flange is 1 degree before top dead center. How do I know that? I compared it to 3 that were put together, and where's my straight edge? Here it is. And I'm going to try to line this up directly over both circles. We'll do like a helicopter run here. directly over top. I'll hold that still. Hopefully I don't have a way to machinist center this up just perfect. I'm trying to guess both circles here with my ruler. And as I fly over, you can see the white mark right there. That's 0. Straight over top. Why does that look wrong back here on the camera? It is wrong. Let me adjust it. There we go. That's better. We're directly over top. Now if this flange right here is intended to be directly lined up with TDC 0, then I should see the white mark appear right on the edge of the ruler. And instead, the white mark is ahead of the ruler by exactly 1 degree. I'm going to target that. For some reason, that must be some engineering wiggle room. All I know is that all three, I got this hub, and that one that's jacked up. I got one on the truck and another one. All three of them showed me that if I just focus on this harmonic pulley mounting bolt hole, using it as my guide for the foundry stamping mark, that thing is not directly lined up with 0. It's 1 degree before top dead center. Here's my yellow, that's 10 degrees before top dead center. And there's my white TDC. So that's what I'm going to target to get this thing assembled. I also did some research on what is the rubber used here. And I noticed the rubber has a number on it. The number on the rubber is 701556. And then around the outer ring, there's another number called 40. 701556. This one is also stamped with 701556. Yeah. Let's see. Get my magnifying glass over here. See if I can find it. There it is. There's numbers on there, but it's 701556, and then 40 is around the other way. Alright guys, let me start trying to get this assembled together. Hang tight. So the material I chose was a radiator hose. I did some research on what is the rubber inside here and what requirements does it need to meet, and I found out a radiator hose exceeds that, and it's also thick enough, and it's cloth reinforced and all of that. I took an old radiator hose scrap piece and I guesstimated my length, cut it long ways. This is the piece I'm going to be wrapping on the interior of this inertia ring and getting it set up and spotted for when these two items get pressed together. I think I want to use some Vaseline, I believe, right here. And the intentions I have, let me take a look at something. This is facing up, so I've got to have this facing up. Yeah. So in order to press this piece down, I got chickens in the background. What I did was on the grinder, I took a little bit of the sharp edge off of each corner of the mounting flanges for the pulley, just to not rip this new rubber piece as it's being pressed. I'll clock this where I think it needs to be, getting it on the right trajectory and fine tune it, and then I'll finish pressing. So hang tight. Okay, so I've got my rubber here. The intention here is I'll be doing trim work, but again, I'm using radiator hose for the rubber. And if I can get that hub pressed into this inertia ring proper, I'll be cutting off the excess with a razor knife. But I'll add a little bit of Vaseline to the I'm kind of skeptical on this. I mean, this rubber should absorb that. I don't want Vaseline on the rubber to the inertia ring because I'm pressing this down into the rubber, and I want this to slip into the rubber and have the rubber grab a hold of the inertia ring. Notice also this neat machined out groove they have. Just paying attention to all the little details, you know. There's some ribs, record player ring ribs to grasp. And the interior of this is record playered out. It has rings in it. So it's definitely going to grab a hold of whatever is stuck in there. So that's how they kept them together. That's just not smooth metal. And this cutout right here, this machined out groove, it's interesting. I gotta do some figuring, so let me reinsert this. Get it dressed in. The factory one is absolutely one continuous ring. One continuous rubber, I believe. I'm not 100% on that yet. I didn't find a dead end on all 3 other samples. And I have enough information to assume that it's one continuous rubber. I'll get this dressed into the bottom as neatly as possible. And the reason why I say that is because this is going to set just like that when I'm doing the press work downward. Alrighty, let me get something started here. I'm just going to be doing some half-ass press work here to see if I can even put these two together. Let's add a little bit of Vaseline to this. And that's top dead center. And there's my flange that I want to be about 1 degree before top dead center. I hope this is not a bad idea. I don't think it is. So what if you ain't got the money for the thing that's broken, you know? This plays into my whole thing about self-sufficiency. Try to fix everything that breaks. If you can, so that you can either just go through the trouble of it, because there's the reward at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to buy something. Or what if you needed to because shit hit the fan, you know? And you have no other choice. You got to fix it. So there's 0. And there's my flange that I'm targeting for 0. I'm going to I need to figure out, since that's now hidden, how do I translate that mark toward the front? I don't know how I'm going to do that unless I watch this hole to that hole. there anything I can do back here? We're just going to send it. If I don't press it all the way, I can fine adjust it with a pipe wrench or something. If I take a couple of kerthwaps at it with a dead blow, I think I can get something started. Oh yeah, that's something started. And I'm sure it's a wee crooked, but that doesn't matter at the moment. What I'm after is to make sure this is just a smidge shy of TDC. Let me figure out how I can monitor how this gets started. Sorry about the camera bump. Let me take an eyeball at something. I want to make sure that my trajectory is correct before I start pressing. Okay, so I've noticed I'm about 1 degree after top dead center, so I'm going to be adjusting this a little bit to get it 1 degree before top dead center. Got it in the vise here, straight edge. And I'm going to turn a little bit. Let's see what that is. Yeah, that looks pretty darn good right there. That's just a hair after 0. Let's take a look together. Do the flyby here for yep, that's what we want. Ooh, that's going to be awful on video. I'm sorry, guys. Oh well, it is what it is. Can't do everything perfect. I'm just going to be checking this mark out here. And there's BTC 0. Before top dead center. 1 degree. That's got to be it right there, exactly. All I know is it's not on 0 exactly. Alright. I've got 2 holes drilled in here, and I'm just going to use those holes that I've drilled to line up with the flange to run lag screws. And where did my lag screws go? Dang it, dang it, dang it. There's one of them. I'm going to hit one hole right there and a shim, which is a socket. And I need another lag screw. Let me get my act together. Hang tight. So what I've got here is a couple of sockets, lag bolts going into this wood. That's theoretically supposed to press this hub down into the inertia ring. But currently this rubber radiator hose is bottoming out right up against the wood, right on the table, so to speak. And this is lubricated up right here. The hub is, and the inside of this radiator hose is lubricated, I should be able to just bump back and forth between the two screw heads and send this down a little bit at a time. It's just a makeshift press. I'm not really trying to do anything fancy here. Oh yeah, it's going. Okay, I'll be right back with some progress. Tightening down a little bit more. Okay, I can see we're favoring this side a little bit. And what size is this? 1/2. Need something longer. There we go. This whole setup is ridiculous. Okay. Wow. Loosen this side up. And that's looks like a fail right there. I don't know. I stripped out the wood, I think. Okay, so that ain't gonna work. It's sending it, it's just not getting there efficiently. I thought there would be enough room. I stripped out the red oak. We're moving though. And our target is to have that flange right there, about a degree ahead of TDC. Okay, but the rubber flange is staying put. I just don't think I'm hitting this level at all. Hang tight. So I've got something going on here. Looks sketchy as hell. And that's as far down as it'll go, because I forgot to shim the bottom. I gotta take it apart again. I gotta get something. I gotta get one of these on one side and one of these on the other side. Dang it. Alright, BRB. So it looks like you're along for the ride here. Tell me that's not sketchy. Ooh. Oh boy. Hang on, I don't like how that's moving around. Why is it so rocky? Huh. I don't like none of that. Why? Oh, it's probably because of warped lumber. That'll help a little bit. Should. And zoom back. Yep. That's getting crooked. I'm gonna have to adjust something, I think. Hang tight. Let's see what's happening here. This is sketchy. Make all kinds of crinkling noises. And this unistrut's getting all crooked on me. But I do have the chain centered over it. Not real sure what's going on here. I'm going to back it off and make another adjustment. Get this cylinder directly over the hub. Why is it going crooked on me? I don't understand. Well, hang tight. So I've been poking around at this for a little bit. This is like a little time bomb just waiting to go off. I can hear those chains talking to me. That rigged up piece of unistrut. Tinging. So I add a one crank and I walk away from it for a few minutes. I don't know. I'm waiting for this thing to blow like an IED. It doesn't look like it's carrying the rubber down evenly, and that's because the rubber's not braced. You can see under there. I hope I end up with rubber sticking out on both sides and I can trim it off. Let's see what we come up with. I've had to shape this, tweak things a little bit at a time to keep it from going in crooked, askew. Right now, this is the best it's looked in a little while. Hang tight. After many times of scooching this around, the circumference, like right now you see the offset on the base of the bottle jack compared to the snorkel of the harmonic snorkel compared to the center line. Things aren't centered up. Pressing it down, making quite a bit of progress here. And I've got plenty of material still occupying Wall Street here. Getting really close. Almost flush. This thing is talking to me though. A couple more times and I think I'll be set. Oh, had my microphone laying on the workbench. Sorry about that. Put that on the other way. Let's see what we can come up with here. Okay. That's pretty close right there. Gosh, this is hokey. And that's pretty close. I may have to fine adjust everything with a C-clamp. If I had a press. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to fine adjust everything with a C-clamp. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to make a couple of more tweaks here. Feeling really flush there. Yeah. I think I'm going to stop right there and do some trim work and then C-clamp work. Hang tight. So it looks like this first round here on this side, it looks like all I got to do is trim some rubber around. So looks worse on this side, but it ends up being like a 3/16 of an inch gap right here where the two rubber pieces come together. But it's razor knifing all the excess off. However, let's call this a fail, because on this side it revealed what I couldn't see while pressing, that due to the fact that this rubber has fibers inside of it, nylon fabric, this pressing action was separating the two outer layers of rubber, even though it's probably all one emulsed fabric in rubber. It was ripping the rubber apart like it had two layers, like right here. It's a fail. Then it was folding over some rubber on the bottom side through here and doing some crazy things to it. So I'll post this up. I don't like how any of this turned out, and perhaps with a real bona fide press and the right thing called 701556, I may call the dealership up and see if they have that part number, that this could be assembled proper. I know the OEM Harmonic Balancer does not have fiber core in this rubber, but also I don't understand if they lubricate both sides. I only lubricated one side, the outer side of the rubber, and the inner part of this inertia ring. So let's call it a fail. Sorry guys, we shall try again. See ya, bye.